recording. So everything now is recorded. And Marco, Charlene gave her your proxy as well, and we had 5 others give you the proxy. So you have a total of 6 votes. So you're representing 6 people, and then Victor is representing 1 himself. So that means that we do have a valid quorum to get this meeting started. Did you guys? I talked to Victor. Did you get the agenda, Marco? Agenda and all of the income statement and the budget.
I did.
Okay, good. So I want to call this order to meeting today, January 30, 2024, Tuesday at 6:07 p.m. Everything is being recorded so we can actually, oh, it looks like we have another person. Sweet. Hello, who is this?
Yeah, this is Linda.
Hey, Linda. Oh, Linda Chang Wu. Thank you so much for coming.
I tried to use the Zoom, but I click on it. It's a document, so there's no link. So I kind of stuck there. So I have to dial in.
Okay, that's no problem. You can, just listen up. And so now we have 8 people here. So that is Miss Linda Chang Wu of Unit D. Which one are you? D4. D4. So so we actually have 8 units represented at this meeting, which gives us over the 25% needed for the quorum. So this will be a valid meeting for 2024. Did everybody receive here? I sent out the agenda for the meeting. Did you receive it, Miss Linda?
Yes.
Okay, good. So how are we going to first, so now that we have proven that we have a quorum, we're going to begin with the year in review for 2023. Just some of the major costs and the major projects that we did at the property. Number 1 was we had a tree fall beside on the side of building D. The cost of that removal was about $1,500. The next thing that we had was a dehumidifier was purchased for the B building basement. The reason that was purchased was because we have hardware there for the cameras. So we actually have a computer and a monitor down in the basement of building.
Can you share that on a screen, because I don't see. Actually, I might not receive the document, but it's okay.
You did receive. I sent it again last night.
You did? Okay.
Yes.
Let me go online. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is here in review. Just going through some of the things that we did.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that, we're earning our management fee. We canceled the exterior pest control. The reason why we canceled the exterior pest control is because they were not coming. We found out that because through some gate problems, we had many gate problems throughout the year. And during that time, they said that they had come to visit the property. So we asked them, hey, when did you come? And they would give us these dates that they supposedly came, but they were always during dates that the gate was broken and there was no way that they could get in. So we kind of figured that they really weren't coming out and servicing the property. Is there an issue right now with any kind of exterior pests? Before, the reason why we started the exterior pest control was because there were a lot of bees and hornets nests and wasps nests. Mr. Victor, you're kind of living there. You're the only person actually in the group that is actually living there. Have you noticed anything with the exterior pest control? What do you think?
Yeah, so I've been having an issue with pests. I mean, I don't really keep the place dirty or anything, but there have been a problem with German roaches.
That's the interior though, correct?
Interior? Yeah, right. Okay. And then
go ahead.
I don't know if this is exterior or interior for my neighbor who had moved out, but when he was moving out, he mentioned that he was dealing with mice. So I don't know if that counts as.
Most definitely it does.
Both? Okay.
We've heard the issue with the German roaches on the interior. Is just with German roaches, we would have to evacuate the entire building and fumigate it that way. That is something that we could consider in the future. Maybe provide like lodging for the people in that building for a week is usually how long it takes to fumigate a German roach infestation. So that's something that we can actually discuss in the future. But like I said, that's not that it's cost effective. I mean, it's not that expensive to actually fumigate the entire building. Maybe around, I think it was like $800 to $1,000. The issue is that, we'd have to put everybody up in, lodging for a week. but that is something that the board members can discuss later on. Just keep complaining, let us know if that's something that you want, and we can actually bring it up to the board. And we can make a decision on that. Like I said, it's not really a
Do we
cost.
need to also today, do we need to order new board members or
At the end, that's what we're,
confront? Okay,
yeah, that's what we're
okay.
gonna do at the
got
end.
it. Okay, got it.
So we'll keep that as an issue for future reference, for the board members. That was also a past issue. Next thing that we did for 2023, repaired the fence behind building B and building D and E. That was due to the tree falling down. Repairing that fence was about $1,000. We had to fix some electrical repairs in the storage area. Some of the lights weren't working, and they were flickering and causing a lot of annoyance when people would go out down into the storage area. So we fixed that for $475. There was also a hazardous tree and a steep tree stump removal by the dumpster. So if you guys remember, there used to be a big tree there by the dumpster that was sort of hanging over. And just through time, you know, a lot of trees were falling at the time. We were just afraid that it was going to fall on one of the buildings again. We've had issues with that in the past. So we went ahead and removed that tree and removed the stump. That was $2,500. Just regular maintenance of the pruning of the trees by the entrance gate behind building E and building A and B. That was that's cutting the branches. Some of the branches that were hanging over the buildings, we also cut those as well, and that was $1,500. Some of the other things that we did last year, repainted all the entrance doors and frames, pressure washed the building, which is something that we like to, pressure washing we like to do at least once a year. We're just, you know, clean up the outside, the sidewalks and the side of the buildings. That was $1,000. Repainted light bulb cutouts and installed Edison bulbs. So the light bulb cutouts are just like sort of the light fixtures on the side of the buildings. Looks like some of them were getting worn. And instead of, you know, replacing them all, which can be quite expensive, each one of those light fixtures is about, I don't know, $50, but you know, that sort of adds up. And, you know, just painting it was a little bit more cost effective because I think all of them still were operating. So we did that for $480. There's a sump pump in the storage area that was repaired. So if you go down into the basement areas of either building B or building E, because they're, you know, in the basement areas, there's really no drainage for any kind of moisture that gets down there. So we installed a sump pump many years ago, and one of them was in building E, actually was damaged. So we went ahead and repaired that. This is something that we were really sharing with Charlene. I don't know, Victor, if you met Charlene yet. Have you met Charlene? She's always walking the property, older Chinese lady.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay, well, anyway, she's always out there. She's sort of like our police person out there, like checking out all of the illegally parked vehicles. We usually get a text message from her once a week about cars that don't have the stickers out there. So it's been a constant monitoring of those parked vehicles. And I think we've done a very good job over the past year, keeping out any kind of people that don't need to be there, any kind of vehicles that don't need to be there. And I think it's really good for the community, especially with limited parking spaces that we have. So I think that's I think we've done a good job with that over the past year. Gutter cleaning is something that we do every year. That was $420 this year. Grill installation. So over the past few years, everybody's been asking to like sort of beautify the property, adding like, you know, new amenities for everybody. So we did install that grill over by building A. I don't know if you've seen it over there, Victor, or not, but there is a community grill over there. And that wasn't very expensive to install at all. And that was done. And I don't think anybody's actually used it either. So if you want to help yourself to that. The reason why we also installed that grill is because actually the bylaws and insurance reasons that we are not allowed to have grills on the exterior, like, you know, kind of close to the property. So they have to be a certain amount of feet away from the property. That's why we installed a grill for everybody's use, but looks like it's not really getting that used. Another thing that we did in 2023 was paint the shutters, repair the doors with the closing issues. Some of the doors weren't working. Some of the common area doors weren't shutting correctly, latching correctly. So we fixed all of that issue over the property. There was also a pipe leak in underneath the E building basement. That was repaired. We also negotiated a better internet bill for the property. We need internet for the property for the call box and as well as the camera system, the security system that all requires internet. So that was previously we were paying about $170, or actually they increased it to 170 and we negotiated it back down to $120. Next up, any questions on last year's events that we did? Did we do a good job? Is there other things that we need to do maybe? Well, we'll discuss the things that we need to do coming up after this financial report, but those are the things that we did in 2023. Moving on, so everybody has this form, right? This is the income statement or the expense statement. Income or expenses, just kind of how you want to look at it. I like to look at it as income, more positive, more cup half full, right?
Yeah.
So just going through some of them, and lucky for the community, we did not have any delinquencies in HOA dues. So congratulations to you guys. Thank you all for cooperating and participating in that. We did have one issue with the one of our C unit owners. She was a little bit late, but then she had lost her job and she was behind a few months. But then when she found another job, she actually got caught up with all the payments. So we actually maxed out on our association income, and we had additional. If you're going down the line here, you can see that the special assessment income we had a special assessment a few years ago, and there was one person that was sort of making payments, and they finally finished all of their special assessment payments this year. And the other additional income that we have is from the association leasing permits. That anybody that has a unit with a leasing permit, they have to pay $250 a year for that permit. So that gives us an additional income. More income that we received this year was from the hard freeze in last December 2022. We actually filed an insurance claim on the A building because it actually, one of the pipes broke and we had to repair unit A3 and A1. And you can see that the income from the insurance services was about $21,600 from that. A couple of people paying late fees, $665 per year. Repair reimbursement fee, that would be if somebody had a repair that we decided that was sort of like their issue. I don't know what that $100 was from, but that was probably like a light bulb being out or some light issue that they thought was an association issue, but it wasn't, and then we charged them for that. So the total income for excuse me, a couple of more income revenue that we found was from fines. Fines were either from just random things, usually from people leaving garbage out or furniture, large items of things that people left out. We collected $500 in fines. The condo initiation fee is whenever a unit is sold, there is a condo initiation fee. So that's that was also charged $500. Cards and remotes. This is just random people getting, additional cards and remotes for them for the property. We made another $150. Temporary parking pass. This is actually quite a bit of income from this. So there were a few units. So everybody is allotted 2 parking spaces per unit. But if you want an additional parking space, you can actually pay for it at $100 per month. So we had a few people that actually took us up on that, and we made another $1,600 last year in temporary parking passes. So that made bringing us a total of $114,819.51 in total income for the property last year. Moving forward, we're going through some of the expenses from last year. One of the largest expenses, of course, being the landscaping at the property, spending $10,365. I think there's a large, if you want to look at August's, there was a large charge of $5,635. That is due to the tree falling. So I sort of put that in with the landscaping was with the tree cutting and the tree falling. So all of that, but a normal regular month of landscaping is only $300 per month. So we can expect that number or that expense to go down, hopefully, barring any other tree falls or any kind of issues like that, any kind of surprises like that, unexpected events. Moving down the line, the second page, You can see the next expense here will be the cleaning and maintenance of the property. That is just random things around the property that we have to call somebody to pick up. Usually that means like picking up something large, like, you know, a couch or something like that somebody left. The parking, the next line, and that wasn't that much. We only spent $800 on that. I think just a couple of large items were left outside. The next item down would be the parking lot sweeping. That is the monthly maintenance that we have. We have a maintenance person that comes by every month to take care of all the corridors and all of like the trash around the property. So if you see any kind of trash or anything like that, sometimes she misses stuff that are like behind the bushes, like beer bottles or something random like that. If you guys see those, make sure you send me pictures. We will get that taken care of because we actually pay for that service. So, and we actually had that decreased like 2 years ago. We used to pay like $500 a month for that, but now we pay $400 a month. And she comes out every Wednesday. She tries to come out every Wednesday. But it's once a week that she comes out to take care of the property. Moving down, going into some of our larger expenses, actually property insurance is going to be always one of our largest expenses. Property insurance last year, and this is always going to be increasing. You'll see in the budget later on that I actually added on another $1,000 for next year for the property insurance, but 2023 insurance is at $16,524 for the entire property. You'll see here that we received additional money from insurance that was from the pipe bursting in the A building. So you'll see there that we received another 21,000 we spent, I'm sorry, we didn't receive. We received that in the first page. You can see that we actually insurance services. If you want to go back to the first page, under insurance services, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down, we received $21,600. That was for the pipe bursting, and we spent on the restoration of that $21,403. So we actually made a little bit of money from that restoration, about $200 we didn't spend on the restoration of building A. So that's good. Moving down the line, accounting for the expenses. Accounting is just preparing the taxes every year for the property is $1,000. The management fee, that's us, $15,000, $1,250 per month. Vendor discounts, if you see at the bottom, this is what we charge for sometimes whenever somebody leaves like just small trash outside of the garbage dumpster. We just have to, you know, charge for someone to go out there to sort of throw that trash into the dumpster, because sometimes they just leave it out there and we don't want to, you know, get raccoons and rats and things like that over there. So that was another $77 that was collected by us for that service. Moving down, this was some of the repairs that we had mentioned in the yearly 2023 report. Just the painting was at $480 for the doors and random things around the property, the doors and the light fixtures. The plumbing repair in the building E. I don't know where this key lock placement is, but we gained $10 there. I think maybe there was a key that we had remade for somebody that I think somebody put in the wrong slot there. But whenever we rekey something for somebody, then there's a $10 gain. So you can see here is expenses, but it's a minus, so meaning that it was a gain of $10 for that service. The repairs, other repairs, as random repairs around the property, turned out to be about $3,775, which is great. We're normally in a normal year, we usually spend about $10,000 in repairs on the property. In terms of the gate repair, the repairs were not that bad. I thought there was going to be much larger than this, about $2,000 in repairs, just because a lot of it was under warranty at the time. But the gate is aging, and I'm expecting a little bit more in repairs for the gate coming in the upcoming years. And the gate is actually a very, very good tool for the HOA to make sure that, you know, maintain the property and keep, you know, people in and out that need to be in and out. Electrical repairs on the property, $475. Supplies turning out to be $673. Utilities, the electricity, about $3,000 a year, which I think is very reasonable. The water at the property has actually been slowly increasing per year as well. Last year we spent about $16,000 in water, and it looks like it's been increasing slowly and steadily each year to $18,000. I don't know whether that is a matter of usage or a matter of just the water company increasing their bill, but I am starting to add on to our budget every year for our water just because it's been increasing, and I want to make sure that we stay ahead of that trend and not get caught behind. The garbage and recycling, once again, I think is really reasonable at about 200, and I think the bill averaged out to be about $270 a month for a service 2 times a week, which totaled out to be about $3,000 a month there. Internet and cable, as I discussed earlier, they had increased it to about $170 per month, but it looks like we're going to decrease that a little bit moving forward. So it should be about $1,500 now, I think, for the year for internet, as opposed to $1,700, hopefully. But Comcast, for some reason, just increases your bill with no warning, no reason, and then you have to sort of give them a call, and then they'll decrease it again. But hopefully we can keep it about $120 for the entire year this upcoming year. That pest control. So that pest control that we were talking about is for exterior pests, meaning like spiders on the outside, meaning wasps, things like that. It does not include like rodent control or interior German roach control. So if that's something that we want to look at in the future, we can. But this is just strictly for the exterior pests, mainly spiders and wasps on the exterior of the building. If Victor, you notice something like that, let us know and we can resume or go up to the board to ask them to resume that service. Moving down, government fees, $30. That's just to incorporate the Chestnut Creek Condo Association every year. Materials to repair items. I guess this was for either the fencing that was done at the property, was about $1,300. Postage and shipping, $8.73 just to send out notices sometimes. Door King subscription, that is the subscription that we have to pay to keep the gate operating to Door King. That's sort of like the supplier of the gate, and that's like the software that we have to use to make phone calls through the gate and things like that. So that's $63 or almost $64 per month. So that would bring our total expenses for the last year to $106,533.90, which brings us to a net operating income, which is the first time that I've seen in a number of years, positive for the year at $8,000. So we are a surplus this past year of $8,285.61.
Congratulations.
Yes, that's what
That's good.
good. It is good.
That's awesome.
So a couple of
We
items.
need that. We need to back up a little bit, because obviously if we have roofing issues or other issues where it costs more money, then then
Most
we don't
definitely.
need to request more money from the ownerships.
Most definitely. So before we begin the review of the the future projects and future things that we want to do at the property, let's move on to the budget, because the budget actually is kind of related to this income statement. So the budget here, this is just sort of rounded numbers. I don't like to be too specific with the budget, because you don't really need to be. It's always just a estimate anyways of what you want to spend for the next year. So you can see for the next year, landscaping, if we keep it, normally it's $300, but I said $333 per month, just because sometimes you need like pine straw and just extra pruning of the trees and things like that. If we keep it at that amount, it would be about $4,000 per year. Parking lot sweeping, keeping it at $400 would equal $4,800 per year. Management fee hasn't changed; it won't change, so that's $15,000. CPA fees, $1,000, that won't change. The pest control I'll move down to $0, but like I said, that can be changed through the board members, either through the interior German roach control, rodent control, or whatever you guys want to decide to do. If you guys want to add a budget for that, we can. renovation and improvements. So this is what these next two items, renovation and improvements and repairs and maintenance. This is sort of like the subjective part of what we want to do with the property, what we want to repair. Obviously it's an aging community, so we have to, like, definitely keep some sort of budget for that. But how much, we don't really know, or it's up to you. In terms of the repairs and maintenance, moving down that budget line is $7,500. I mean, I'm sorry, the moving down the line would be insurance. So this year was about $16,500. I increased it by $1,000 for next year just because insurance is going to increase, and if you don't increase it here, then you're a fool. So 17,500 for the insurance and just $1,000 for random supplies that may be needed at the property. In terms of the utilities, I increased it just a little bit. I think we averaged $258 in Georgia Power electricity. I just increased it to $266 per month, just because they do increase, but Georgia Power is really good about not gouging people, so I don't think they'll increase it that much for the next year. Water and sewer, because it did increase over the past year, another $2,000 from like 16,000 to 18,100, I think it was 18,100. Let me see. The water bill was 18,100. Yeah, I increased it to 18,500. Hopefully it won't increase that much, the water, because I don't know if that was based on usage. Maybe we can use a little bit less this year. Will be 18,500. Trash collection, keep it about the same, 3,500. Gate phone internet, 1,440. It will be the exact cost if they keep it at $120 per month. And so your grand expenses, hopefully budgeted wise, will be 87,440. And if all goes well, just without any kind of fines, without any kind of special parking permits or anything like that, just straight association income and leasing permits, we should be receiving $90,350. So that's without any kind of extra income. So that should bring us to a surplus next year of about $3,000, hopefully. And that's also dependent upon the amount of renovations, improvements, repairs, and maintenance that we do to the property. So any questions with that? The budget is very important because whenever somebody tries to purchase a unit inside the community, the lenders always need to see a budget. They always need to see these figures, these numbers, and things like that. So it's always important that you guys approve this budget for next year. So if you guys have any questions about that, let me know. What's up? Anybody? Cool. So if there's no other questions about that, we can all agree to unanimously approve the budget for 2024.
Approved.
Victor, you see anything there that you may want to add, take off?
No, nothing I can see.
Okay, great. And like I said, this is definitely amendable. Like I said, throughout the year, things are going to change. We may, have lightning strike one of the property, whatever. This is just for right now, just for budgeting purposes, so we can provide information to all of the people that need it. Like I said, maybe lenders that are trying to purchase, people that are trying to purchase into the property. Okay, so moving forward. So this is for future projects. Review of proposed 2024 projects and additional business items and concerns. You guys seeing it? Okay. So moving forward, I think this is probably the best one that I would recommend for the board, for you guys to approve, would be to extend the current fencing. So you see that the fence in the front of the property is like sort of flat with the gate. If you extend the two sides beside, each side of the gate, if you were to extend that out, I think about like 15, 20 feet. I don't know the exact number, but the actual number is allowable. The actual number that's allowed is 15 feet from the center line of the road. So wherever you see those two yellow lines in the center of the road, you can put a fence 15 feet back from there. So to max out that space, we found a company that was very reasonable. Chambly Fence Company said that they could do it for $7,200. They would use some of the existing fence, which is fine. Like the existing fence, there's really nothing wrong with it. We can actually like paint it maybe if we wanted to, or not, and just add a little bit of side fencing to sort of increase that area. Because one of the main reasons that people aren't using the barbecue area is that it's really kind of like a tight area over there between building A and that fence. So if we extend that out, maybe add like a little pad there for like a bench or something, then maybe people will start using it. So then, you know, it actually becomes an amenity instead of just a grill sitting there that nobody's using. But not only that, I mean, there are kids in the property. There are dogs that people like to walk in, you know, in green areas that would actually increase that area. And it would just be better for the property, I think, if we were to move those fences out a little bit, which also
And how much was that?
7,200.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that is using existing fence and then adding new fence along the sides. So,
Mhm.
but I think is a very good cost that the board members can actually discuss after, you know, after the meeting, but I recommend that one. The picnic area around the grill. So as I was saying, really, we can't install a concrete pad right now because there's really not enough green area over there. If we install another concrete pad, then it decreases that green area. Only way that I would add that concrete pad is if we did extend that fence. Another concrete pad is about $1,000, $1,200. There is a tree by building F that is leaning over the property, but this tree is actually on our neighbor's property, and we've actually sent out notices to the neighbor about this leaning tree to warn them that, hey, you know, take care of this tree. If it does fall, then you're liable. They have not answered. They do not. I don't think they plan on answering. But if we wanted to remove it, that would be a $2,700 cost. I think we can probably wait on that because, you know, we don't know whether that tree is going to fall or not, and we've already warned the next door neighbor. But if it does fall, like, you know, I don't want anybody to get killed or anything like that. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's another thing that the board members can sort of decide on. Because like I said, our budget is limited. We've only allotted $17,000 for renovations, repairs, and maintenance. And last year, like I said, our maintenance was down to like $4,000, $5,000. But you know, that I do expect that to be more this year. That was the lowest that it's been in the last few years. So I usually the repairs are about $10,000. Just the repairs alone are about $10,000 for the aging property. Also, there was an issue with some of the concrete sidewalks around the property. Those are aging. To replace all of them or replace the sidewalk behind building B, the entrance to the building C and D, just pretty much just the front side of all the buildings is $7,300. This does not include behind building C and D over by where you are, Victor. So it's only all in the front of the area. That's $7,300. If you're interested, we can actually look at getting that quote for the backside as well. How are those concrete sidewalks doing in the back of the building, Victor?
Pretty good. I think there's like a crack on over by building D next to 2.
Okay.
So that's like where the balcony starts.
Okay. Send us pictures. Send us pictures. We'll see if that's like a dangerous issue there. But send us pictures anytime you next time you go out that way.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a foundation issue, but yeah.
Right. So that was so that's another large item cost. It's about $7,300 to get all of that sidewalks all renewed. But that is actually a pretty good repair too. That's going to brighten up the property, make it look more modern, make it look a little bit more just appealing. You know what I mean? Gives you a much more curb appeal. You know what I mean? Right now, these sidewalks are probably in the 20 years that I've been involved with this property, we've never done anything to those, and I'm sure before that is another 20 years. So it's maybe these were the original sidewalks that are with this property. So that is another consideration for the board members. There we another repair would be to repair and the handrails, some of the handrails in the common areas are sort of hanging around and not completely solid. So to repair all of those, and this is just to repair them. This is just to sort of like screw them in a little bit tighter into the ground and make sure that they are very secure. That's just a $500, $465 repair. So the dehumidifier for building B is working, but we actually need another one for building E. As you all know, like that the basement areas, when you walk down there, it's actually very musty and you can smell like sort of the moisture when you go into those into the basements, and the commercial dehumidifier that kind of is turned on for the entire year or the entire time is about $1,000. That may be something that the board want to consider. Roof repair, building F right now, looks like there's a small leak there. I don't think this is actually a question of whether we should do that. We should probably do that. Charlene has recommended that we not park any cars in the backside of building C and D. The reason being is because there's an erosion issue from the back creek, that Chestnut Creek, the actual creek that's behind there is starting to wear away underneath the parking lot. And eventually that parking lot may start to erode down into the creek. It's been an issue that we've discussed many times in this meeting, but she wants to put a sign out there and disallow the parking. That's also up to the board to decide. But I think that's kind of inconvenient, especially for someone like you, Victor, who is partly parking back there. Do you park back there?
Yeah, maybe like 10 parking or something would be better.
Yeah. But anyways, that's what she was recommending. In terms of the camera issues, some of the cameras just through time and wear and tear have gone out. We used to have, I think, 12 cameras on the property. I think that is down to 9 just through time and wear and tear. And like these cameras, they don't last very long. Like they're just exposed to the elements, 24/7, and usually they don't last more than like 5 years. So instead of repairing these, I think we should wait until maybe more of these go out and just replace the entire system. Just wait a couple more years. I still think we have enough cameras to sort of get 9 cameras around the property to sort of look around. I think it's enough for now. What other issues at the property would you guys like to see? Victor, Marco?
I'm good.
Anything from you, Victor? Do you have any suggestions? You want that helicopter pad on top of the building? What do you need?
No, I think I think I've seen like one of those dog poop like stands, like the bag stands. Were there any before?
We added those 2 years ago, just recently. Yeah.
2 years ago.
We added
Why
those.
the bags out? Are the bags out?
I don't know if the bags are out, but I also wasn't sure if there was one behind like building D.
No, there's 2. There's one in between building A and B and one between E and F. Do you want one behind building D?
Yeah, probably like by the sidewalk,
Cool. Let me add that down, then we can discuss that with the board. So you want a dog pooping station behind D.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
And then you also were worried about rodent issues and the German roach issue, correct?
Right.
Okay. Have you seen any rodents?
I personally haven't, but the neighbor who moved out I think from D2
Okay.
may have had some issues with them. You just mentioned it in passing as they were moving out.
Cool. That was an issue, by the way. We have had, because there's a creek back there. So usually when there's water, there's random animals and things like that back there. So it doesn't surprise me that they are back there. Instead of maybe rodent control, maybe we can add some rodent exclusion, like, where they sort of seal up the back so they don't get into the property. But there is also an erosion issue underneath building D as well. Like if you walk outside, like especially D2, you'll see like that area over there starting to wear away. And that is also another, that was my addition. If we want to sort of move forward here, we can look into additional business items. So we do know that the back erosion area is an issue. So we contacted the stormwater director of Doraville. I put DeKalb County, but it's actual Doraville, Chris LaFleur, to maybe Charlene's Charlene, the president of the association. If you haven't seen her yet, she's the kind of older Chinese lady that's always walking around her dog around the property, keeping her eye out on the property. But anyways, she's very involved with DeKalb County and Doraville, and she introduced us to him. So we can actually maybe get some like, city money to actually help us with like the erosion control back there. But eventually that's going to have to be addressed, that eventually that back area is going to erode away. We don't know how long it's going to be. It could be, 50 years. It could be 5 years. Who really knows? Unless we hire an engineer. Hiring an engineer to come out and do a survey, do a study of the property, though, is quite expensive. It's usually about $5,000. And normally they'll just tell you, yes, you do have erosion issues and you should fix it. Is my experience with these inspectors. So if we want to, we can get an assessment of how dangerous it is. But like I said, most likely they're going to say it is an issue and that we do have to fix it. So I don't know if we want to open up that can of worms just yet, but we'll ask the board about that as well. Another way to increase our income, our flow, is to increase the annual rental lease fee. As rents increase, it makes sense to sort of increase that that rental lease fee. And we do want to try to make this community more owner occupant friendly. Like, just having renters to a property is always sort of it really decreases the value of the property. And sometimes you never know what you get with a tenant. Sometimes you get it going, that's great. A lot of times, like we had a lot of complaints about E4 or E3 this past year. They actually left like they were one of the people the tenants that we actually fined for leaving their large furniture items out. So, that's also something that we can ask the board in the meeting following this meeting. Charging for lease permits. Okay, we already said that. Oh, the capital reserve fund. So normally with a association, an HOA, they have the operating account and they have a capital reserve fund. The capital reserve fund is sort of something that is for like, large items of repair that you're sort of like saving for, like a large project like repaving the parking lot, redoing all of the roofs, redoing all of doing the fence, whatever you guys want to do with it. We do not have a capital reserve fund because we normally don't have any reserves every year. Usually every year we're right at operating cost or actually behind or below. This year we do have a little bit of savings, and actually right now in our operating account we have $28,081.35. I was recommending maybe starting this capital reserve fund with $10,000. And we'll ask the board about that if they want to do that. And then nobody touches that unless there's like a catastrophic event or a planned sort of large project for the property.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So anyways, we are done with what I have for the property. If you guys don't have any kind of additional items or business items of concern or business, we can actually go to voting or electing or appointing, in our case, the new board members for next year. So last year, the board members were Marco, who's here, Charlene, who last minute could not make the meeting and gave Marco her proxy. And there was Stephen Jenner, who has actually left the property. He sold his property and he moved out. So we're looking for new board members. And because you showed up, Mr. Victor, I would like to recommend that you be on the board for next year and you can make some of these decisions around the property. I don't send very many. I'll send emails about these questions And then you guys just, it's like an email form that we answer. It's not like necessarily like a formal meeting unless you guys want to meet. I won't call one. If you guys want to call one, then we can have one. But normally it's just an email. Hey, what do you think about rodents coming in? What should we spend? What do you want to do? Hey, what do you think about, the rental lease fees, increasing those, whatever it may be, it will be asked to you guys. So, what do you think, Victor? You want to join the board for this next year?
Yeah, I can get back to you on that.
Yeah, no, right now, buddy.
No, you
Yeah.
need to be now.
Let's
You need
do
to
it.
be yes or
Come
no
on,
answer.
Victor. Come on, Victor.
You live
Like
on
I said-
site. You should be part of it.
Yeah, you should be a part of it. It's Mark,
Well,
and I think
I have some
No, no work.
questions.
I will stay on if you come on board.
come on, Victor. Come on.
Are
Come
you
on.
implying?
Just 1 year, and like I said, you get to make the decision. You get to spend this $28,000 on the property. You get to decide what it's spent on. You know what I mean? So come on, just do it for 1 year, and we'll see how it goes. If you don't like it, then next year you can abstain. Just do it for this year, okay?
Sure.
All right. Victor's on the board for this year. Marco, I assume you want to stay on the board,
Yeah. Yep.
and then we'll put Charlene, or do you want
Yeah.
you want to miss?
We push Charlene.
I think Charlene wants to. Charlene told me she wanted
Yeah.
to. So
Sure.
Charlene, so we'll elect the next board as Charlene. We'll keep her as president.
Yeah.
We'll elect Marco as vice president.
Yeah.
And then Victor will be our secretary. So you three are the three votes that we decide. So whenever we go to like some sort of decision, I'll send an email out to you guys, and you guys will just email back. Yes, I want to do this. No, I don't want to do this. Maybe we do this. Maybe we do that. That's all it is. And like I said, we don't have any other meetings. It's just email responses. Okay, Victor?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining the board. So those are the three board members for this next year. And if there are no other issues, I think we're gonna have a world record annual meeting time of 53 minutes. Anything else? Anybody? Everybody's good? And like I said, just wait for this email after we're gonna write the minutes up, and then we're gonna ask the board the questions that we had in this meeting, and then you guys can decide how to move forward with 2024. If there's no other issues, guys, thank you so much for attending. It was a great 2023, our first positive year in a few years, so that was great. And we will be adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
As always, we are here to help. Just contact us, send pictures, emails, whatever it may be.
All right.
and
Sounds
we'll
good.
get you all done. All right, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.